Hello and welcome into the Bruins fan review for Game 1 of the series against the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm Pat, and I was excited for playoff hockey coming tonight, just like I bet you guys were watching this video. You were probably reminiscing with me. You're going to be reminiscing with me on all the moments. There were a lot of good moments for the Bruins tonight. And right from the jump, Bruins were out energetic, throwing the body. The first 10 minutes, they were absolutely dominant. You could tell they were ready to play playoff hockey and that the 3 days of rest really helped the Bruins, who had been kind of struggling down the stretch after their tough 19 games in like 35 days to go down the stretch at the end of the season. 5 minutes in, kind of a weak penalty called on James Van Riemsdyk of the Toronto Maple Leafs. But you take what you get in the playoffs because you don't get much for penalties, or at least you usually don't. Krug carries puck in on the power play. Marchand goes around. Roman Polak burns him with his speed. Krug finds him on the other side of Polak. Marchand goes straight to net. Does a nice little forehand backhand move. He's a lefty. And he beats Anderson low glove. Not the best attempt on that save by Frederik Andersen. Leafs fans would probably like to see him have a little better go at that one. But Marchand, he's a dynamic player, great goal scorer, great player, great pest, and he puts the Bruins up 1-0 early. The stats reset. We're at 1 goal for Marchand, 1 assist for Krug, and 1 for Pastrnak. Goal scored around 5:28 into the first period, and Boston got the early lead. Now Boston would keep their foot on the pedal a little bit longer, and a minute later after this goal, Krejci would go to the box for a hook, and I thought it was a weak call. I kind of thought it was a makeup call for the call on JVR. My personal opinion on that one, I really didn't think it was a penalty. I'm not sure JVR's was a penalty either, though. Anyway, Rask makes a key save, and good kill by the Bruins. Anytime you kill off a penalty against a great power play like the Leafs have, that's a good kill. Marchand and Bergeron got 2 great looks at the end of the kill too, so they almost got a shorthanded goal. 2 minutes more of attacking time in the Leafs zone than they did at the 10-minute mark into the period, and that's a big margin that early in the game. Play starts to level out around the halfway point of the period. Gardner hits a post with 4:22 left in the first. Very good attempt for him. He'd probably like that to go in, but it does not. Jack Edwards is in his prime tonight, like always. He's yelling about icing calls. He's getting all upset, hot and bothered. Typical Jack Edwards come playoffs. He's emotional like your 45-year-old drunk uncle on the couch or something. He's that type of guy, but he's in the booth. Love Jack Edwards. About 3 minutes left to go. Riley behind his own net throws it up the right boards to Connor Brown. Chara pinches on it. The puck gets through both of them, goes out to the other side. It's a foot race. Krejci with the angle. Zach Hyman coming. Zach Hyman apparently is a really fast skater. Learned that tonight. He blows by Krejci, takes it towards the net, bodies Krejci off so he can get an attempt. McAvoy, I think, underestimated his speed a little. He didn't get the best stick check in on him. And great single effort by Zach Hyman here. He beats Tuukka around his right leg and puts it in to level the game 1-1. So even though it felt like the Bruins were playing the better game in the first period, the Leafs are able to weather the storm and tie it up late. And I believe that was the last notable thing of the first period. No. There was another Krejci hook in this game. Looked like the refs are calling stick infractions kind of weird tonight, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys would agree. I thought there was a lot that could have been called that wasn't, just because I was looking at what they were calling, and it wasn't that much different from what they weren't calling. So I was a little confused on the refs' discretion of what was a penalty and what wasn't tonight. I didn't think they did the best job. Periods end 1-1, and as I said, Bruins played a better period, but the Leafs weathered the storm. So I was wondering, how are we going to come out during the second period? Can we get that pace back that we had at the first 10 minutes? And Boston outplayed them early. Yep, I already said that. And Toronto even most of the stat categories by the end of the period. Like shots or even scoring chances. But it felt like the quality of chances were still kind of favoring the Bruins, in my opinion at least, from my observation. 1 minute into the second period, Chara would go to the box for the holding. I thought it was a good call. Chara was clearly holding the stick. Big kill. Big bodies in front blocking the shots. I thought that was key. Komarov and McQuaid both high stick each other in the face. That kind of funny. No calls either way, though. A little lucky on the kill. The Leafs power play looked dangerous, but they just didn't score. 7 minutes into the second, another penalty on the Bruins. Danton Heinen this time. A slash, and I agree. He slashed a stick right out of the Leafs player's hand. Not too much to claim about. 0 for 2 on the power play of the Leafs. 5 shots for them on their 2 previous power plays. Bruins struggled to get the puck out of the zone. Toronto's power play looked decent. Good kill, though, because they didn't score. We succeeded on having the Leafs not scoring us on their power play. One of the Leafs' strengths coming into the series was their power play. Fun fact, they don't even run Austin Matthews on their first power play, and they're still extremely deadly. When you can run Austin Matthews on your second power play unit and your first power play unit is still very successful, you're doing something right. Mike Babcock is doing wonderful things for that power play. He could really help them 5-on-5, though, which is where they need to get help going into the next game. Shots 13-13 at the halfway point. A little later, Nash got a good shot at the net, but Frederik Andersen loved it. Snagged it out of there. Looked like it was going top shelf, but he said no. Krug 1T on a pop-up rebound. Andersen lunges to keep the puck from landing behind him. 6:43 into the, I believe this is 6:43 into it. Marner makes a good wee move and misses empty net. And oh my God, there was a lot of empty net because Tuukka Rask was diving to his right. He had all underneath him. Tuukka got the stick down, which I think is why Marner tried going more to the post than he should have, and he missed the net completely, and it pops out to the other side and goes to the boards. Big missed opportunity. He scores that. It's a 2-1 game for the Leafs. Like, I was thinking the whole time, like, what if the Leafs had gotten a power play goal? Well, after the game, I was thinking this. How would the game have differed? Maybe we still would have put in 5 goals against them, but it might have been a different game. Let's see. On the next page of notes. So then Rick Nash is down low. He bumps Gardner. He kind of like hits him from behind, clips him a little. Clean because he's getting the puck and all that. I think Gardner just loses balance. Kadri takes exception to this on Rick Nash and goes at him and kind of gets him knee to knee. And then while he's falling, he slashes Rick Nash in the face. Completely accidental, that one. That was one of the few things Kadri did that was accidental tonight. No call whatsoever, which I thought was kind of bull. Then Kadri, yeah, I already said that. No call on that. Then down low on the boards, Marleau and DeBrusk are fighting with each other on the boards, and Marleau hooks him and he falls. Penalty call on Marleau. I'm not sure it was a penalty on Marleau, but it kind of makes up for the clear penalty that should have been on Kadri right before this, in my opinion. Right after this, Nash and Gardner get into a scrum. Playoff hockey, you're going to see that a lot when you normally wouldn't in the regular season. The Bruins power play going into this was 1-for-1 already. Bruins late on power play, start getting chances. Grizzly kind and Pasta, they were getting some good chances late into this power play. But there's one man in front, and that guy's name is David Backes. Krejci gets puck down low, and he just says, I'm going to throw it on the net. Why not? Good things happen when you put the puck on net. Throws in the net. Frederik Andersen gives a juicy rebound into the slot. David Backes kicks it to his stick. Nice little soccer-like move there. And roofs it on Frederik Andersen, who's lunging on the ground trying to make a desperation save. But no chance. David Backes would roof it 2-1 Bruins. And we never really looked back at this point. I'd say the game was kind of even for a little, and then the Bruins kind of took it away. At the 2 minutes mark left in the second, the Bruins were outshooting Leafs 21-18. We would go on to outshoot them from this point on 19-9. So we really took the game by the horns and went forward and really played Bruins hockey for the rest of this game. Bergeron gets to puck dumped in the corner. Bats it around to Marchand. This is still late in the second, by the way. Marchand passes to Pastrnak at the top of the circle. Quick one-time release, and he snipes top left blocker side on Frederik Andersen. Shot's really quick. I'm not sure I would blame Andersen for this one. I don't think he saw it. And this is like a very bone-crushing. That's not correct. This is a heart-crushing goal to go against the Leafs because you just got scored on a minute or two ago. I believe, let's see. 15:43 was the time of the Backus goal, so 15:43 into the second period. That means about 4 minutes left, and then just a few minutes later, I think that's a little under 4 minutes later, Pastrnak snipes on you with only like 48 seconds left to go in the period, 38 seconds left to go in the period. It really just killed them. I think from this point on, the Leafs' young talent just didn't believe in themselves, or at least that's how it looked to me. This was a filthy snipe, though. Going into the third, the shots were 25-18, and the chances were 16-11, both favoring Boston. Boston power play, because Toronto had too many men on the ice, 2 minutes into the period. Not a great power play, no goal for the Bruins on that one. 5 minutes into the third, Leafs go to box because Kadri boarded Wingels. Questionable call, but there's a few non-calls that were questionable, so I didn't mind this one. This is not the Kadri hit on Wingels later. This is a different Kadri hit on Wingels. So Kadri was kind of targeting Wingels tonight, it felt like, considering he has two boarding hit from behind penalties, like almost back-to-back, like within minutes of each other. The Leafs killed the penalty, so not the best power play, but you can't complain about the power play when you already have 3 goals on it. No, we had 2 up to this point, my bad. Anyway, Chara spots Pasta up the boards. Pasta lifts Morgan Riley's stick to receive Chara's pass, and Pasta makes great move to beat Anderson, but he doesn't beat the post. Puck pops up in front of the goal, and Sean Corrali bats it out of there and in. Goal, 4-1 Bruins. Felt like the game was over at this point. Really felt like the Bruins had a stranglehold. Did not feel like the Leafs were going to come back from this. They weren't showing good character at all. And right after this, Wingels and Chara go and do like a double sandwich type hit along the boards on Mitch Marner. And Kadri took exception to this, and he was going to make a hit. You know, that's pretty normal in hockey for a retaliation hit. He'd probably get away with it, too, if he didn't hit someone who was on their knees with a hip check to the head. This is absolutely dirty. There's no place for a hit like this in hockey. I know if a Leafs fans watch it, they're going to be like, this guy's wearing a Marchand jersey. I am. Marchand does great things. Yes, he can be a little twerp sometimes, and he'll do some dirty stuff. And that means, if I'm willing to admit that, I think you guys should be able to admit this is a dirty play. Wingels can't defend himself. It's literally straight hip to head into boards. If Kadri doesn't get at least 2 to 3 games, I think that's a fair range for Kadri, especially depending on if Wingels is seriously injured. If Wingels is injured more, the suspension will probably be more. It's just how it works. It's not really fair because you can't control how injured the guy is. I think 2 to 3 games is probably a good timetable for what this suspension should be, in my opinion. If it's 1 game or less, I'll be heated. If it's more than 4, I kind of feel a little sympathetic for Toronto because, yes, it's a dirty hit, but I really don't think Kadri went into it intending to injure. I think he was just doing it just to like send a message. And it's unfortunate for him. It's unfortunate for Wingels. It's unfortunate. But there's no place in hockey for a hit like that, and he needs to clean up his act going forward because he was just a little twerp tonight all around with that knee-to-knee hit on Rick Nash. The other boarding call on Wingels, like he was just dirty all around tonight. Dirtiest player on the ice, and it's not Marchand tonight. Shocking. Anyway, Kadri was thrown out, 5-minute major, 2 minutes left on the power play. Krejci down low. He decides to throw it on Anderson, who Anderson I think was shook at this point because his 5-hole was wide open. Jeez, that was just trash goaltending. Krejci gets the gift. Krejci's first, assisted by DeBrusk, and Krug second of the night. On that Corrali goal, by the way, Pasta shot off the post count as his second assist of the night. So Pasta had a 3-point night. I believe Krejci had a 2-point night as well. Not as well, just a 2-point night. And so Boston would hold off Toronto for the 5-1 victory. Great game all around for the Bruins. There was very few times, I'd say like the last 10 minutes of the first and a little bit of the beginning of the second, but the beginning of the second was because of power plays. That's about the only time the Leafs really controlled the game, and I thought it was mostly because of power plays. Really, you can't really have a better Game 1 performance. I'm very happy as a Bruins fan. Let's see, is there any notes I can make? Shots were 40-27 in favor of the Bruins. Face-offs were 50-50 on the dot. Leafs are 0 for 3 on the power play. Penalty kill was good, but I'm a little worried about it going forward because the Leafs' power play can be dynamic. If the Leafs' power play can get it going, the Leafs will win a few games in the series. At least one if their power play gets going. Bruins were 3 for 6 on the power play. Extremely efficient tonight. Hopefully they can keep that going. Tuukka saved 26 of 27. Tuukka had a very good night. I don't think Toronto had the best chances against him, but Tuukka had a solid night either way. Anderson, 35 of 40. I was not impressed by Frederik Andersen, and I hope I'm not impressed going forward by Frederik Andersen. On to the last page of notes and final thoughts and all that. Matthews and company, which I mean like the young guns who were been carrying the Leafs all year, very quiet outside of the power play. Toronto didn't look like they believed in themselves after a third goal, especially after a fourth, and definitely not after a fifth. Neutral zone Bruins did well, and the board play was good from the Bruins. I took that quote straight from Andy Brickley, so you know it's a reliable one. Kadri, 17 minutes of penalties. That's going to hurt your team, bud. 5 different goal scorers, all 4 lines represented for the Bruins. You got Corrali on the 4th, Backus on the 3rd, Krejci on the 2nd, and Marchand and Paulson on the 1st, and you love to see that. You thought depth scoring was going to be an advantage of the Leafs going into the series. Maybe it's going to be an advantage of Boston because they showed that tonight, whereas the Leafs had Hyman, who I believe plays first line with Matthews. All the walking wounded looked fairly well. I thought Chara looked good, even though that pinch you can kind of be like a little critical. But I didn't think it was a bad pinch because Krejci was back in position. It's just he didn't read Hyman the right way, and neither did McAvoy that well. But I wouldn't really hold that one too much against them because besides that, both those players had pretty good games. McAvoy looked very good. He was skating and commanding the play very well. Corrali looked good. I mean, most of the guys, I believe all of them, McAvoy's on the board, Chara's on the board, Corrali's on the board. All the people I was worried about are on the scoreboard tonight. So I'm very happy to see that. Bruins decor was pretty even in minutes. I thought this was interesting. McAvoy with a high of 20 and 51 seconds, and the low was McQuaid with 16:33. So really less than a little more than a 4-minute gap between lowest D-man in minutes and highest D-man. I like that because, you're keeping everyone well rested and everyone has energy. And plus, they're all very capable defensemen. Going forward, as I said, beware of the Leafs power play. It can turn on and be deadly at any moment, and it can really flip a series for the Leafs. Take advantage of the physicality that the Bruins possess over the Leafs. The Bruins seem like they're a bigger team, and they can play with the boards a lot better than the Leafs can. So they really have to play to their strengths here. Board play is key. Keep foot on the gas pedal. One thing you have to do, which the Bruins did great tonight, was once they had a lead, they kept going and wanting more goals and wanted to push the pace. They did not sit back on a lead. You have to do that if you want to secure your victories and guarantee them. And the last things I'm going to say is a little bit of a precautionary thing and a little bit of nerves on my part. And that's, I don't think you're going to see the same Leafs team on Saturday. I think the Leafs will show up, and I think they're going to give a hell of a fight on Saturday. It's too talented of a team to just crawl up after a loss like this and die. They're going to show up. It's going to be a lot harder game for us on Saturday. Does that mean we lose? No. That just means we're going to have a tougher time securing the win. But after tonight, I'm very hopeful for this series, and I'm a lot more confident in the Bruins because I saw their injured players play very well tonight. And I think Leafs fans should be a little nervous because a fully healthy Bruins team is just flat out a better, more well-rounded team than the Leafs have and possess. And if your goalie's going to play like that throughout the series, you guys are going to be packing real soon. I've been your boy Patar. Hit like if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you really like the video. Saturday's game I won't be reviewing till sometime Sunday. I don't know when. I have plans Saturday. So I hope you look forward to that, and I'll see you next time. Peace.